Hi everyone, this is Pastor Adam Edgerly from Newsong LA Church. Tell me something, can you remember a time in your life when you desperately wanted to be chosen for something? It may be back in childhood, being chosen on the playground to play a particular game, or being chosen even for student government, or chosen for a team that you went out for. Perhaps later in life you had a desire to be chosen for a particular college or a job opportunity. Many of us also long to be chosen by someone as a life partner. This desire to be chosen is one of those deep desires of the human heart, and that's what we're going to talk about today. It reminds me of this movie, and actually before that, the books, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. In that book, the character Frodo, who's a hobbit, is chosen to take this ring and to destroy it because the ring has enormous power. It's one of a group of rings that it's the one that binds them all together, and it has this power, but it's dangerous because if you use it, it corrupts you. Well, Frodo is wondering why he was chosen for that ring because he feels inadequate. And many times we feel inadequate, and especially when it comes to our spiritual lives. I think that what his mentor in the story says to him speaks to us very powerfully today. Let's take a look at that. This guy, Frodo, is looking at this ring and wondering, how am I up for the responsibility of this great adventure I'm being called to? In his conversation with his mentor, we read these words. This is what Frodo says, "Why was I chosen?" And then Gandalf speaks to him and says, "Such questions cannot be answered. So you may be sure that it was not of any merit that others do not possess, not for power or wisdom at any rate, but you have been chosen, and you must therefore use such strength and heart and wits as you have." Gandalf's words of wisdom, I think, come from J.R.R. Tolkien's understanding of the gospel. We read actually in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 27 and 28, "But God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, even things that are not, to bring to nothing things that are, so that no human being might boast in the presence of God." Isn't it clear that Gandalf is echoing these words when he says to his young protege that you can be sure that it was not because of some merit that others don't possess that you were chosen, but you've got to use the wits that you have now that you have been chosen. This calling to a spiritual adventure God gives to every one of us. He welcomes us to be part of His community and to go with Him on an adventure that will require us to be equipped by God. Listen to what Peter says in 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 9 through 10. "But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for His own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of Him who called you out of darkness into His marvelous light." God has chosen us out of darkness into His marvelous light so that we could proclaim how excellent He is. And when God calls us, He equips us for that calling. God bestows value on us when He chooses us. He bestows His investment in us, giving us His Holy Spirit and teaching us by His Word. And He gives us a life purpose to proclaim that gospel and to serve people in His name. When we choose to follow God, we discover that we ourselves have been chosen before the foundation of the world and that God has made us VIPs, people that He has considered valuable, people in whom He has chosen to invest, and people whom He has given a purpose in life. Have you answered the call from God? Have you recognized that you are one of His chosen? If so, God is welcoming you to a great adventure, and that desire of the human heart, that desire to be chosen, will be satisfied when you choose to follow Christ. If you want to know more about what's going on here at Newsong LA, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out on our website at newsongla.net.